Welcome to your Pick a Pile video. This is a general reading to help you figure out what you need to know for this week. We have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. If you have already done a pick a pile and you know what number you're going to, I'll see you in your reading. If this is your first pick a pile, what you're going to do is you're going to pause the video. You're going to feel which pile you feel most called to, and then you're going to go down in the description below and you're going to go to that timestamp. So go ahead and pause the video and I'll see you in your reading. Welcome pile 1 to your reading. If you picked pile 1, you picked the lovely rose quartz bracelet. Rose quartz is a reminder of self-love for self-healing purposes, and it's also a good bracelet, or not a bracelet, sorry, it's a good quartz. I mean, it is a bracelet, but it's a good stone also to remind yourself to give yourself grace whenever you're going through a difficult time. All right, let's go ahead and dig right into your pile 1. Let's see what we got here. So first thing we're going to start with is you, not who you are as a person, just who you are in the situation. And here we have the Empress in her reverse position. Now, when I see the Empress in the reverse position, it's one of those things where I understand that you're in the winter season. And what do I mean by that? I mean that as humans, we have seasons just like the Earth does. We have spring, summer, fall, and winter. At least if you live where I live in Kentucky, we have those 4 seasons, you know, kind of. But 4 seasons. So when I see the Empress, I know right now that you're not necessarily in the same place of fertility that you would be. If you hear that, that's my dog. You're not in the same place of fertility that you would be in for, you know, spring or summer, but instead we're in the winter season. We're in the fall-winter season where right now things are starting to, you know, they're starting to maybe fall apart a little bit and you're needing to grow your roots deeper. Really think about the trees, not pine trees obviously, but the other trees. When fall hits, the trees start losing their color. They start getting color. They start getting orange, red, yellow, but then they start losing their leaves. As they lose their leaves, we see a lot of beauty, but to them, it's, you know, just another phase of what they had to go through, and then they go through the winter season, which is when they're stark. And we have to do the same thing. We show our beauty, and then we have to get ready to go into like a retreat state or a withdrawal state, where, you know, this is a time for reflection, this is a time for inner work, and during this time, it can feel aggravating because you're not going to see a lot of the results. Just as in winter, the roots grow deeper and the trees get taller, and we don't notice until spring happens when everything's a lot more flourishing and bountiful. Your outward surroundings aren't going to mirror exactly all the internal changes that you're doing right now, and that's okay, because when spring comes, when your spring comes, not the actual season of spring, when your actual spring comes, it will be noticeable and you will feel amazing. All right, the root of the issue here. We have 4 of Pentacles reversed and we have 3 of Pentacles reversed. Well, let me say my little caveat about Pentacles. Remember, Pentacles is not just about finances, it's about time, energy, and health, because we spend time, we spend energy, hopefully we're not spending our health. Let's talk about the 3 of Pentacles first, actually, because this goes along with what I was talking about with the Empress in her reverse position. The 3 of Pentacles is us wanting recognition for the work that we've been doing. It's us wanting someone on the external to validate and say, hey, you're doing a really good job. Hey, this is awesome. Hey, you know, good for you. And sometimes it's like that's necessary if you're trying to do get a promotion, or if you're trying to, you know, achieve something or be seen as far as like in an athlete type of situation. But if it's anything else, you don't need that external validation. I mean, even technically athletes don't need external validation. They know they're awesome, but they need to be recognized by a coach or a talent or something in order to get where they need to be. So my point is, when I see the 3 of coins in its reverse position, it's a reminder that, yes, it's nice to have people pay attention to you and see everything that you're doing, but right now the validation needs to be internal and not from the external, and you have to have confidence and pride in what you're currently doing. So now let's talk about the 4 of Pentacles in its reverse position, because when I have the 4 of Pentacles in its reverse position, that's telling me that right now your time, your energy is kind of like slipping away from you. And I'm not meaning like you're sick or something like that. I'm talking about like it's not yours right now. Maybe your kids have soccer games, football games, and you have to, you know, go to practices, games, and then you have yoga, and then you have to take care of your mom, and like all these things are going on around you, and you're finding it really hard to have you time. Your energy is not yours right now because it has to be for other people. And that's okay. It's okay to be in service to other people. It's okay to be in those temporary spots, but remember, it's temporary, it's not forever. When your energy is being taken and used for other people, it's a sign that A, you're in service, but it's also a reminder too that during those times you still need to make time for yourself. Because if you don't make time for yourself, that's where the burnout and the illness happens. So yes, your time and your energy isn't necessarily being able to be used in a way that you want to use it, but it's being utilized in a way that it probably does need to be utilized. But this isn't going to be forever. And we need to remember, again, to give ourselves our own time, even if it's just 10 minutes to journal or, an extra 5 minutes before you pick up the kids from school. Whatever it is, give yourself that time. What is holding us back? We have the Knight of Wands and we have the Five of Cups. I want to focus on the Five of Cups here because the Five of Cups is a card about grief. And if you've been with me for a little bit, you know that I'm going to tell you that the only way to get past grief is to work through the grief. You can't get rid of it until you work through it. It's the only way. So when I see the Five of Cups, I'm understanding that something happened. And considering that this is what's holding us back, this wasn't just like a small grief. This isn't just something that, oh, I didn't get to make those plans I wanted to, or, oh, I didn't hit that goal I wanted to. This was something big. This was something big, and this is something that cut you deep. And that's okay, but we still need to remember that we need to move forward. It's also a reminder, too, that, while for you, everything seems to come to a standstill when we're in that deep grief, the world does keep going. And that's what the Knight of Wands is kind of trying to say as well. Because right now, you're kind of been stuck in between two spots. When I have the Knight of Wands here, I see that, you're wanting to put your focus into getting things done, because Knights don't like to be still. They like to go, 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 do, do, do. Wands is a very action-oriented suit. So when I see the Knight of Wands, I see that you are just wanting to do things, to go after things, to get things done, to move forward with things. And that's a beautiful thing to do and to see, especially when you are in a period of grief. But we can also use that, wanting to do energy to avoid the grief that we need to process. So I'm coming here to say that what's holding us back is the fact that we're not processing something. I also want to say that one of our oracle cards, my emotions deck, is loss. Now, loss doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're going to be losing like a person or friend or anything like that. But it could be that, a friend moves to a different state. It could be that, one of your work friends decided to, take another job somewhere else. Loss can be very deep and emotional, even on those levels, but it doesn't mean that someone's going to pass away. It doesn't mean, that something is drastic is going to happen. Loss can also be you changing yourself in the sense of, I no longer do this. It's no longer who I am. Loss can also signify, like, if you were someone who used to drink a lot and you no longer drink, that's also part of loss. But my caveat is this also all includes grief. Because whenever we let go of something, whenever a part of us changes, whenever we have that loss, there is grief that needs to be worked through. And I do want to be realistic and say that this really could be a passing of someone as well, but this is something that's already happened, not something that is going to happen. What is going to help us? Well, we have the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Cups in their reverse position, which I thought was kind of funny. Let's talk about the Queens just as a whole in their reverse position. First, we have two Divine Feminine cards in their reverse position. We have air and we have water in its reverse position, which means that we are in a great place of resistance. We're not accepting something. We are trying to say, I don't want this, I don't like this, and we're refusing. When we refuse with the Queen of Cups, we're refusing to allow ourselves to express and feel the emotions that we need to feel. We are going within, but not in a healthy way. We're going within to shut down. We're shutting other people out, and we're not giving ourselves the ability to process what we need to process. When we have the Queen of Swords, we're being very critical, very cruel, very narrow-minded in what we're doing. We're not necessarily being cruel to other people, but more towards ourselves. Possibly to other people, but in my experience, the cruelty is always more towards self than others. We're being very narrow-minded. We aren't seeing, the trees for the forest. We're just seeing the tree, not even the forest. Like, you need to get yourself in a space where, A, you can get out of your head, and B, you can get into those emotions and we can start processing and utilizing them. Our next step card is the Seven of Pentacles. This is a beautiful card, actually, because this is one of those reminders that while, yes, there's a lot of shit going on in our head and in our hearts, that we still plant seeds. We literally still plant seeds in our brain and we plant seeds in our heart. Affirmations, goal making, just routine, like changing your routine. All this stuff is you planting seeds. And so while the Seven of Pentacles typically talks about you reap what you reward and it's a monetary reward or it's free time or it's something, this card also really can signify that you reap what you reward in the sense of what you've worked through. Because here's the thing, if we're refusing to work through our emotions and with our thoughts, then we're not going to grow at all as a person. We're just going to stay stunted where you are. And I'm sorry if you don't like that, but this is true. If you work through the emotions, if you work with your head and you try to, tell yourself the truth instead of the story that you've been living in, then you're going to be able to reap what you reward. You're going to have a peace of mind. You're going to feel lighter. You're going to feel happy. You're going to be able to feel whole again. And that within itself is still earth energy. This is still you planting seeds and getting back in return the efforts that you put into it. Our internal influences is Temperance reversed. Temperance is applied knowledge. And when we have it reversed, again, we're in a great place of resistance. I have no clue what has happened that you are just wanting to resist so badly. But I want to remind you, where's that bracelet? That you picked the pile that had rose quartz. And this is the self-love stone. Like, you can't get much more self-love than this. So whatever you're going through, we need to have that grace. We need to give ourselves the love and the ability to say, you know what? I can do this, because temperance in its reverse position is telling me that you're applying knowledge and you're not willing to learn the lesson to make things different. What do? You keep putting the, pancake batter in the pan. You keep it in there for the same amount of time on the same temperature. You keep burning the pancake and you keep just saying, why isn't it working? And you keep repeating the process. You don't change the temperature in the pan. You don't flip the pancake any sooner. You don't take the pancake out any sooner. What do? You leave it in the pan for it to burn the same amount of time as you did over and over and over again. That's not going to help you learn. That's not going to help you get past this. Another example I like to give is, when a child is learning how to walk, they fall down, we encourage them to get back up. They smile, they get back up. You fall down, you're just beating yourself up because, oh my God, I fell down, the world's coming to an end, and why do I even bother trying? That's not the attitude we want to have, okay? We fall down, we get back up too. We give ourselves the same grace, the same encouragement that we would give to that infant, or toddler actually, because infants don't walk, toddlers do. I was a daycare teacher. All right, our way to our possible outcome. Our way to is the Queen of Wands in the upright position, and our possible outcome is the Ace of Cups, which I absolutely love. But let's talk about our way to. So the Queen of Wands, this, another Divine Feminine card, like the only queen I'm missing is Pentacles here. She talks about how you do things, you do the things that you need to do, but you do it in a loving and caring way. You consider the whole. You pull yourself into the position where you're like, you see what needs to be done, you see what's best for everyone, and then you do it. You do it with a loving and nurturing home. But also in that sense too, we do the things that fill us with passion, that fill us with desire, that feels purposeful to us. We don't do things just to do them, like mindlessly. We do things for the purpose and intention of doing things that are good and like helpful to us and everyone around us when I have the Queen of Wands. And then our possible outcome is the Ace of Cups, which how beautiful is that? that if we can just allow ourselves to get past this resistance, we're going to find joy on the other side. We're going to find joy, happiness, new beginnings, just things feeling and overflowing. That is a beautiful thing to see. And it's a reminder, too, that this is just a temporary state. It's a temporary state of being that you're in right now. It sucks. I 100% get that it sucks. But this is temporary. So let's pull the full story here. We really are in a place right now of total resistance. Like, I have my Empress reversed, I have the Queen of Cups reversed, and I have the Queen of Swords reversed. The Empress is divine femininity in the major arcana, 100% divine femininity. And you being in that winter season is necessary. And we need to get past these limiting beliefs. We need to get past this hardship that says, you know what, this is too difficult and we need to work through it. Because the only way to work through grief is by grieving, by doing the work, by feeling the emotions. You have to allow yourself to have the emotions. I know that you're exhausted. I get that. And I get that right now the time that you have is not being spent by you, it's being spent by somebody else. But also understand that you need to be proud of yourself right now. Because this isn't a time to seek external validation. This is a time to go internal and say, I'm strong. This is a time to go in and say, I can do this. This is a time to say, go and look what I'm doing for yourself. Have pride in yourself. If you can do that, you're going to blossom and grow so much as a person. And I don't mean that in a condescending way. Every day we all learn new things, myself included. I had 3 of the hardest weeks in my past year, these past 3 weeks. These 3 weeks were hard on me. They sucked. I didn't like most of my days. But you know what? I grew as a person these past 3 weeks, and I love who I am right now. And I'm on that other side, and it's a great place to be, but I had to go through the worst 3 weeks of 2024 for me in order to get to this place. So that's exactly what you have to do too, because growth requires a little bit of struggle, unfortunately. Because without that struggle, you wouldn't know how strong you really are. So temperance, this is the internal influence. Give in to the fact that there is going to be falls. Give in to the fact that there's going to be mistakes, that there's going to be some temporary failures or setbacks, and see what you can learn from them. Temperance reversed is one of those things we have to work through it. We have to continue to do it, but it's in order for us to learn so that way we know how it works for us. Because the way it works for somebody else isn't necessarily going to be the way that it works for you. So find what works for you. And then be that Queen of Wands. Allow yourself to do things with purpose, with passion, with driven desire, with a goal and an outcome in mind, so that way you can find that happiness within yourself. This is you overflowing with your own self-love, with your own happiness, with your own joy. This is you. This is you being happy. Let's get to our oracle cards. So one of them is omens, which is another word for signs from the universe, coincidences, whatever you want to call it. But what I love about this card is that you're going to be getting confirmations from the universe. You're going to be getting signs. You're going to be getting messages. Things are going to be coming to you in a very visual way. So pay attention. We talked about loss. Another part of loss that I want to talk about with this is sometimes when we're changing, sometimes when we're going through grief, sometimes when something so radical happens in our life, we lose a part of ourselves, and that's okay. But it's a reminder too that sometimes you're not meant to get that part back because you can't. Because whatever you experience changes you. And when you learn something, you can't unlearn it. So it's okay that you're not going to be who that person was before. It's okay that you're going to be someone new. And then we also have sacrifice, which this was a hard card for me to swallow for a while. Because when I thought of sacrifice, I always thought of the extreme versions of sacrifice. I was born and raised Catholic, so how Jesus passed away on the cross, or like, you know, I'm also a heavy fantasy reader, so all the times that you have to sacrifice, you know, the village woman to, you know, keep the gods happy, yada yada, whatever it is. Like, that's how I saw sacrifice. I always saw it the big way. I never thought of it on the small level, though. Sacrifice is doing small things too. Like, honestly, you doing anything that you don't want to do for somebody else is sacrifice. I currently sacrifice my time taking one of my friends to work and back because right now their car is not working. I mean, it's not a major sacrifice, but it's still a little bit of a sacrifice. It's still about a little bit of time, a little bit of gas money. That's okay. I don't care, but it's still a sacrifice. Sometimes a sacrifice is you doing something for a family member that is going to give up your weekend day that you don't want to. Now, yes, I do remember in the beginning of the reading, I talked about how, not this card, how your time's not yours, but again, it's temporary. But I also want you to know that every time you sacrifice a little bit for the greater good, every time you give yourself, which giving yourself is part of sacrifice, every time you give a little bit of yourself for the greater good to help somebody, you're going to receive it in return. Maybe not from that person directly, but the universe always rewards in return for the efforts that we put out. And the last card, which I love this, and this is why I was happy to end on this one, is Get Back to the Elemental. What does this card mean? This is a reminder that sometimes you have to get back to the basics. You have to get back to the 4 basic elements. You need to figure out what lights your fire, what makes you happy, what still makes you want to just get up in the morning and do things. You need to figure out what makes you feel joy. You need to figure out what it is in your life that you want to continue to nurture and grow. And you know what? What thoughts do you want to keep having? And what thoughts do you want to let go? So right now, pile 1, you are going through a huge transformational shift. I feel like this is something that was forced upon you that you didn't really have a lot of control of. And that's why you're feeling exhausted, tired, aggravated, and you're in complete resistance. Because if something is forced upon us and we don't have any say in it, then yeah, we're in a lot of resistance. But at the same time, resisting is not going to change the outcome. We need to accept it, and we need to keep moving forward. We need to keep doing things that matter to us. Pile 1, that is your reading. Comment down below what it is that you're having troubles letting go of so I can help you with ideas or maybe understanding what's going on, and we can work through it together, because I don't want you to feel alone, pile 1. I know right now whatever you're going through is tough, and I want you to feel supported, because you are supported in more ways than you know. And if I can just be one of those people, I would love to be one of those people. Also, if you'd like a private reading, there is a link in the description below. That's all I have for you today. I hope to see you again. I can't wait to read for you again soon. Bye-bye, pile 1. Welcome, pile 2, to your reading. If you picked pile 2, you picked the lovely tiger's eye bracelet here. Whenever I see tiger's eye or I need tiger's eye in my life, it's a reminder to have courage. And it's a reminder that I have strength within me. Sorry, I'm like trying to like just show it. It's a reminder to have strength within me, and that I always have the strength that I need. Tiger's eye is also one of those kind of grounding stones for me. I know it's like a lot of people don't use it for grounding. I use it for grounding, but if that's something you need to, it could help. Especially if you're seeking courage right now or strength, sometimes the best way to get that is by grounding. Okay, pile 2, let's go ahead and get into our reading, because it looks like there's a lot going on. So let's start. Sorry, that's my puppy. He's in here with me today. Let's start with you. Not who you are as a person, just who you are in the situation. And here we have the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands is one of those things where you're somebody who knows how to get things done. You have passions, you have passions, desires, and you have goals, and you're all about just doing them. You don't even really put a lot of thought into it outside of what it is that you need to do and how best to achieve it efficiently. The Queen of Wands, also being the divine feminine of the fire element, is also a great nurturer and home giver, in the sense of she finds excitement. She finds purpose in her home. She, you know, loves to do things for her family. She loves to cook. She loves to just do all the things that she can do to help her family. Bub, you have to lay down. You're not going anywhere. He's not happy about the fact that he's stuck in my office. It's only for a little bit longer. Okay, so the root of the issue. We have the Six of Pentacles, and we have the Tower. These are like really dark. I don't know why. Okay, let's talk about the Six of Pentacles first. Okay, yeah, we'll talk about the Six of Pentacles first. The Six of Pentacles, I want to remind you about Pentacles, is that Pentacles is not just about finances, it's about time, energy, and health, because you spend time, spend energy, hopefully we're not spending health. And the Six of Pentacles is you receiving something. It's you receiving something from the universe. It's the universe helping you in some way in order to accomplish something. That could be you receiving extra time. That could be you receiving extra time. That could be you having a boost in energy, or that really could be you receiving finances from somebody, or an outside source. Whatever it is, it's a bountiful gift that's going to help you to get through whatever you're going through. And then we have the lovely Tower, everyone's favorite card of the tarot. And I say that facetiously, but honestly, I love the Tower, because the Tower is change. And it's one of those things where it's like people don't like the Tower because a lot of times it's unexpected and we don't know what's going to happen. But for me, the Tower is one of those cards where when I get it, I know that something's going to happen. And whether I appreciate the moment or not, I know that something great's going to happen out of this Tower moment. Because when the universe decides, hey, we're going to shake things up, beautiful things happen. Is it going to suck for a little bit? Maybe. It could also not suck. For example, when you buy a house, that can create a Tower moment. It's one of those things where you're excited to live into your new home and to be in your new space, but like moving, not fun. The actual process of purchasing the house, not fun. But it has a beautiful ending. So, Tower moment. What's holding us back? We have death, so change, and the Four of Wands. Let's talk about our death card here. Death does not mean that someone's going to die. It just means that there's change happening, that there's a death to an old way to make for a new way. What do I mean by that? I mean that while you are going through this change, while you're going through the shift, a part of you is just no longer going to be there. So, easy example, when you become parents, there's a lot of things you don't do anymore, and there's a lot of new things you do because that baby is your center of your life for 24/7 for a while. And then you start to regain your life back. But you're never going to be a non-parent after you become a parent. Like, that's just not how it works. And so death here is one of those things where it's like, you can't go back to who you were. It's not possible. The things have changed. Another example is if you had to change careers. Well, guess what? You are probably never going to go back to that old place because you're not going to, because you're in a new career, you're in a new place, you're in a new space, and that is who you are now. And that's okay. But you're letting go of that old identity. And then we have the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is unification. It is unification of action, which brings people together. The important reason why I say that it brings people together is because a lot of people think of this as a marriage card. And I honestly, for the first time ever in my little tarot existence here, and when I say little, I mean over 20 years, I consider this to be more of a solid foundation card. But I'm actually going to call it the marriage card today. Why? Because there is a marriage of some sort that happened in the past that caused the death card. What do I mean by that? There could be a union. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily mean that you or someone that got married, but there was a union, there was a commitment, there was an agreement, and that whatever this was brought two together to create something bigger. So it could be you and a business partner creating something new. It could be, you and a friend creating this new journey that you're going to do. It could be, it could be marriage. It really could be in a romantic way. Or even it could be you dedicating yourself to something new that's unfamiliar to you. So an easy example of this is if you are trying to go on like a lifestyle change where you want to try like an actual diet, not one of those fad diets. And, you're trying to do something to better yourself. And so it's you committing to yourself in a way, but you've made an agreement, you've made a commitment, you have a plan, and you're going to follow through. Not saying that, dieting isn't a lifestyle change, but I'm talking about like when you're just like, okay, I'm going to shift my whole life so that way I'm not who I used to be because I need to be better for myself. If that resonates, cool. If that doesn't, just take it and throw it away. I'm okay with that, but I know some of you understand what I'm saying. So what's going to help us? We have the Five of Wands in its reverse position, and then we have the Emperor in its upright position. Let's talk about the Five of Wands reversed here, because fives are another card of change, by the way. 5 is a number of change. And when I see it, Five of Wands in its reverse position, I see that we have really been struggling to prioritize our actions. Again, Wands are that action-oriented suit. So when I see the Five of Wands, excuse me, sir, can you be quiet? When I see the Five of Wands, I see that right now you've decided, okay, I can't mow the grass, make dinner, feed the baby, change the diaper, do the laundry, walk the dog. I can't do all these at the same time. I have to put something down, put something on the back burner, and I have to prioritize. And that's where you're at right now. You still kind of want to do all those things. They're still on your mind, but you're like, no, I can't keep pulling myself in 50 million directions. I need to focus. I need to prioritize. And that's a beautiful thing to see, because what's going to help you also is the Emperor in the upright position. And what's important about that, Emperor is all about structure, all about discipline, all about logic, all about efficiency. The Emperor is the divine masculine of that major arcana suit. And it's you putting yourself in a place of action, efficiency, logic, structure, routine. And that's important, because I see here that we're going through a change, that we're trying to make something big, something different, that we're trying to get ourselves to do something that we weren't currently doing beforehand. And the best way to do that is by using the divine masculine energy. Divine feminine is great. Don't get me wrong. I love the divine feminine energy. I love being in flow. I love, trusting my intuition. But when it comes to making changes, she's not necessarily great, because my ego is really loud and my ego tends to overpower my divine femininity. What my ego can't overpower as easy is when I have goals, when I have plans, when I have strategies, when I have efficient ways of getting things done in my life that I want to do. That's when my ego is like, okay, you win this time. And it's like a toddler. It's like, I'm going to let you win this time, but I'm going to try again later. And it tries again later, but I still do what I need to do. So let's lean into that fire energy. Let's lean into that divine masculine, and let's make the plans. Let's write routines. Let's do what we need to do, so that way we know what we're going to do and it's not just guesswork. Because our next steps card is our awakening card, which is also, that's the judgment card. Sorry, I had a brain fart. That's the judgment card in the original tarot. And so when I see the awakening, I literally see, what I love about this is judgment in the original tarot, always has the sense that you're being judged by someone else. No, this is you waking up to who you are. This is literally more accurate of a meaning of what judgment is than the actual judgment itself. Because when you are looking yourself in the mirror, when you are working to ascend, when you are working to make that difference, it's because there's a part of you inside that's like, I'm not in alignment with myself. I'm not happy with where things are. I feel like things need to be different. And that's beautiful to see. The fact that this is your next step card is telling me that you're putting yourself in your alignment. You're putting yourself where you need to be. You're putting yourself in a place where when you look in that mirror, when you decide that you're going to be who you're going to be, you're working to be it if you're not already being that person and you're just waiting for your external environment to catch up. It's a beautiful thing to see. So keep going into that awakening. Keep leaning into it. Keep allowing yourself to keep pushing yourself and your boundaries, so that way you can find out your true self and be happy and confident with who you are. Internal influences. The Magician reverse. Now, the Magician in its reverse position does not mean, which I love that this is kind of like Alice in Wonderlandish. I'm going to look at that. But in its reverse position, it's a reminder that you have all the tools, all the resources. You know how to do everything. I feel like it's just in this moment, we're kind of feeling uncertain. We're feeling doubtful, because whenever we do make changes, lasting changes, whenever we're working towards a goal, whenever we're trying to shift something big like this, there is so much uncertainty. There is so much unknown. And when we have that, it is really easy to fall into, I don't know enough knowledge. I need to relearn what I already know. Or my tools just aren't shiny enough. I want the shinier tools. Or, you know what, the rain outside is just blocking my understanding of what I need to do. I want perfectly sunny. And then the next day, the breeze on the perfectly sunny day, like, I just can find all these excuses for why I'm not doing the things. Let's get past that. That is literally your ego just trying to keep you in place right now. And I talked about the ego with the awakening because this is something I had to deal with. And I understand I'm literally in the same spot myself where I'm working to shift myself in such a big way, to optimize my health in such a happier and more holistic way, that, you know, it's one of those things where, like, I realize I'm a little in over my head, and that's okay. It's okay to not know how everything's going to work out, but I still have to just do the thing despite the fact that I don't know how everything's going to work out. I don't know how well it's going to play. I don't know exactly how, you know, everyone's going to respond to what I'm doing, and that's okay. So just keep doing the thing and stop falling into the excuses. That's pretty much what that boils down to. Our way to our possible outcome, our way to is the Page of Pentacles reversed, to the possible outcome being the Wheel reversed. Now, on the surface, this doesn't look great, but this actually makes a lot of sense because the Page of Pentacles, so this page, what I love is this page is literally like writing poetry or learning something or studying something, which is literally what this card is about. And even in its reverse position, it's still that you're learning, it's still that you're accepting new knowledge, but it's one of those things where because we are trying to apply that knowledge, we're getting aggravated and agitated. So I like to remind you that Earth energy moves at its own pace. Earth understands that every thing has a season, a reason, and a place. So when I see the Page of Pentacles, it's one of those of just understanding what the season, the reason, and the place is, in the sense of you're actively trying to, we're going to go with the garden because I like this example. You're actively trying to learn when's the best time to plant the seeds. You're actively learning, you know, how do I pull, how do I prune? You're actively learning when's the best time to harvest. Should I wait a little bit longer? Should I pull it a little bit sooner? And that's okay because the Page of Pentacles is learning through the process. But when it's in its reverse position, we are feeling more nervous. We're feeling more agitated, a lot more just aggravated at the lack of inner knowing. And it's a reminder to have grace. I think I actually talked about with the tiger's eye about grounding. Maybe you do need the grounding. Maybe that will help you. Because if we can ground, we can find the answers are a lot more clear, or we can find patience where there is impatience. And then we get to the wheel in its reverse position. Now, for me, the wheel is always better in its reverse position. Why? Because in its upright position, yeah, it's saying that if you're not already having good things happen, that you're like right there, and it's not going to get much better because the wheel's going to continue to go down then. In its reverse position, you're already here. You're already in the shit. Yeah, things are going to get better because the wheel is always turning. The world literally is always spinning. Earth does not stop. Nature does not stop. And guess what? Your life doesn't stop either. You're not going to stay in the shit forever. Things are going to get better. I have to remember I'm on YouTube, so maybe I shouldn't use that word so many times. Things are going to get better. Yes, it sucks right now, but it's going to get better. You're going up. After so long, you can only go up. Think of the ocean. There's high tide and low tide. Right now, you're just at low tide, and you're about to come into your high tide. Yes, that means you have to go back down to low tide, but that's how the world works. That's how our life works. Ebbs and flows. You have to have the ups to go with the downs so that way you can appreciate the ups again. It doesn't plateau. It doesn't stay even. That's on a heartbeat scale. That's death. And guess what? In real life, that's the same way. Stagnation is not fun. Up and down, that's how life works. So guess what? Things are going to get better. You're going to be getting onto that high spot that you're going for. You're getting that thing that you're looking forward to. It's going to get better. Let's talk about oracle cards. Changes, which is literally what this whole entire reading's been about. So I really don't feel like I need to kind of talk about this card that much, but I do want to talk about the spiral. Because the sacred spiral is one of those reminders where sometimes it feels like we're going in circles when that we're learning the same lesson. And it's not that you're going in circles and learning the same lesson, it's that you're spiraling. And as you continue to see this, you are learning it from a different angle. You're learning how much you've grown. So you're not staying in the same spot. You're just going up, and eventually you're going to pass that same spot on your spiral, and you're not even going to notice it because you've learned the lesson so well. You've accelerated it. You've, just blown it out of the water to the point where you're like, yeah, this is normal. I don't even care. And you go on to the next thing. So spiral changes. Our next two are my emotions card, which I don't think I've done a lot of this on YouTube, but these are really my favorite deck. Our first one is fear, and then our second one is lucidity. Let's talk about fear first, though, because I understand that when we're making changes, that life can seem a little overwhelming, and this is where that ego likes to come into play. This is where that ego likes to tell you it's not going to work, but what if we fail? But we can't do it. I recently heard that, let's hope I get this right, that fear is just false evidence appearing real. Ha, I got it right. And I love that. I'll repeat it again. Fear is false evidence appearing real. And that's exactly what the ego is trying to do. The ego is just trying to prove to you, look, you can see all around you about all the people that fail. And when the ego's in the driver's spot, guess what? You don't have the ability to see anything than what the ego wants you to see. So this is a reminder to take your ego out of the spot and to put yourself back into the driver's spot and say, yeah, but look at all the people who succeeded. I can be one of those people. Which is where the lucidity comes into play. Because if you are in a lucid place, and with this deck at least, you have a very clear, focused vision on what it is you want to do. You know what your goal is. You know what your purpose is. You know what it is that you're going after, and you go after it. You just keep doing it. You don't allow yourself to be distracted by the other things because you just know that you're going to do what you're going to do. And that's a beautiful thing to see. Our last card is Your Living Poetry. And I love this because whenever I see this card, for me, in every reading I've probably ever given with this card, it's a reminder that whatever you do, you're creating and that you're doing it in a beautiful way. So just keep doing it. Because here's the truth. We are, as humans, we love to compare ourselves and strive for perfection. And this is a reminder that you don't have to do that. Just be you, be beautiful, be yourself, and the beauty's already there. The poetry's already there. You don't have to try to be any more poetic than what you already are. You're already your authentic self. You're already, who you are now. And if there's a version of you that you're trying to get to because that change, that shift that we're trying to make, that's fine that you're trying to do that, but you're not trying to be someone else. You're just trying to be more of who you are. Yeah, did you hear what I said? You're just trying to be more of who you are. So when you're making these shifts, when you're going through these changes, it's not because you're trying to be you over there. No, it's because you're getting under those layers. You're releasing that coding, that conditioning, everything that these societies put on you. You're shedding it. You're saying, it's not me, so you can get more to who you are, to more who you are on the inside. So, pile 2, that is your reading. I know right now, things are, did I even do the full story? I don't even think I did the full story. Let's do your full story, pile 2. Oh my God, I was so into just the flow of your reading that I did not do the Emperor card. Okay, so full story on your reading. Sorry, pile 2. So, right now you're in a place of desire, driven, or action-oriented. You're the Queen of Wands. You're someone who knows what you're doing. You're going after it. The universe has given you permission to do this. This literally is what the Six of Pentacles means. You have everything you need, and if you need something else, you're going to receive it. But understand that the Tower is going to come, or it has already happened. If it's the root of the issue, it tells me that it's already happened, but it happened for a reason. It happened for the reason because you needed to have this happen, so that way you can be that person that you want to be. So you can be that aligned person that you want to be. So you can be more of yourself. Right now, though, we're getting really caught up in trying to do everything at once. Why do I know that? Because we have the Five of Wands. We need to just work on being efficient. We need to work on that routine, that structure, and everything else. Because ascension is happening. That judgment, that aha, that understanding, it is happening. It can't be avoided if you keep walking down this path, and that's a beautiful thing to see. Don't let yourself get chucked into ego. Don't. Let your ego have what it wants to say, but do what you want to do or need to do anyway. Just let your ego be like, hey, I think this is silly, or this makes me feel uncomfortable. Be like, okay, cool, but we're going to do it anyway. Because you're still learning. You're going to have to go through that learning process, but it's not going to be uncomfortable for forever. Okay. I think that is your reading now. I really feel like we have accomplished a conclusion there. Oh my goodness, pile 2. In the description below, let me know what, or sorry, not in the description, in the comments below, let me know what changes you're going through. And if you're really struggling with your ego, or if you're really struggling to understand how the Emperor can apply to your situation to help you overcome that fear of the uncertainty and of the unknown, comment below what it is you're going through, and I'll work with you to see what answers we can find. Also, if you want a private reading, there is a link in the description below. That is your reading for today, pile 2. I'm excited for your next reading, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye. Welcome, pile 3, to your reading. If you pick pile 3, you pick the lovely hematite bracelet, which has, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you the little owls. It has little owls on it. Oh, no, he fell. Little owl. Can you see him? Kind of. Okay. Not the best, but it has little owls on them, and some lava rocks. But the important thing about the hematite bracelet is that hematite is a reminder that, oh my goodness, I'm blanking out literally. Hematite is all about protection. There we go. It's about protection and reflecting back bad intentions that aren't meant for you to the people who sent them to you. And owls are about, one of those, they're can be called deceiver, they could be called wisdom. The important thing that I want to focus on, though, is they are nocturnal and they do everything in the dark. So when I picked this bracelet, it was one of those things where, yeah, you might need a little bit of protection. You might need to put some protection around yourself, but also you might not know what you're protecting yourself from. An owl strikes at night. A mice does not know it's going to be caught until it's caught. So take that or, don't. That's up to you. So let's go ahead and dive into your reading, pile 3. Did I call you pile 1? I don't know. I'm sorry. It's been a day. I'm going with it here. Just bear with me. So pile 3, you. Not who you are as a person, just who you are in the situation. And here we have the world, which is a lovely, actually, I'm just going to keep this card because it's a really pretty card, which is a great place to be when you're the world, because it's one of those things where you've completed something grand, you've come full circle, you've learned something, and you are just excited to, share what you've done and move forward onto your next journey. The downfall of the world in its upright or reverse position is that means you've closed one chapter and you're about to start a new chapter. Now, for some of you, you might be like, that's not a downfall, that sounds exciting. Great. But for others of you, I understand why you're like, I don't know what to do going forward. I get that. Let's continue on with your reading because I feel like you're going to get some answers here. The reason why we asked the question, or the root of the issue, we have 2 chalices, or also known as the 2 of Cups reversed, and we have the 3 of Swords in its reverse position. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I'm not one to pull romantics or even another person into my readings, but I feel like we had a breakup of some sort. I'm not sure exactly what it is. So let's talk about the 2 of Cups in its reverse position. 2 of Cups is you and somebody else being separated. This could be you and a friend, this could be you and a romantic partner, but whatever the separation is, it's something that is causing you emotional distress. Not like as in like, maybe it is causing you emotional distress from the fact that it's changing your life and you're falling apart, and if that is you, I apologize, but we're going to work through it. But it could also just be you trying to adjust to whatever that difference is. An example I just actually gave in a previous pile is, sometimes if a friend moves to a different state, it's one of those things that's still a 2 of Cups in its reverse position moment. It's not that you and that friend aren't going to be friends. It's just you have to adjust to whatever this new version of your friendship is. If you used to go to each other's houses every weekend and now, they're not there every weekend, you just need to figure out how you're going to adjust. Still uncomfortable, but not life-ending. And then the 3 of Swords in its reverse position, which the 3 of Swords always the disappointment card. Why is it just disappointment and not heartbreak? Because here's the truth about the 3 of Swords. Actually, I keep forgetting. These are really pretty cards, and there's a lot to take in, and I want you guys to see the art. But here's the thing to remember about the 3 of Swords, is when you have the 3 of Swords, it is about you being disappointed from lack of communication, from lack of understanding. Expectations weren't met because expectations weren't communicated clearly or weren't listened to. Now, here's the caveat about it when it's in its reverse position. You knew this. In its upright position, it makes sense that you didn't know that expectations weren't heard clearly. But it's in reverse position, it's telling me you knew this. You knew you either set the bar way too high, you knew that you were striving for perfectionism, and you know that you had these expectations and that you weren't going to communicate for them because you were going to test somebody, and you were disappointed and it hurt your little heart. Now, am I trying to make this trivial? No, but this is the element of air. Swords is the air. So our own thoughts, our own mind is what is hurting our hearts, not necessarily somebody else. I'm putting this on you. Now, I know I'm not telling full story yet, that I'm only getting to the root of the issue here, but these two cards together are why I'm pretty sure that this is a breakup. And I'm going to mention that I'm pretty sure, without knowing the full story, pile 3, that whatever you're going through, it was not just a one-sided or the other side, it was mutual. That's what I'm getting at right now. The root of the issue is that there was issues on both ends, and that not one is right, not the other is right, both are wrong, or both are right. That's what I'm getting at here. What's holding us back? We have the King of Pentacles in its reverse position, and we have strength. Let's talk about the King of Pentacles in its reverse position. I want to remind you that Pentacles is not just about finances. It's about time, energy, and health. We spend time, we spend energy. Hopefully we're not spending health. So when I see the King of Pentacles in its reverse position here, I'm reminded that you know how to spend your time, spend your energy. You know how to do it in a way that works, that is efficient. But in its reverse position, you just don't care. Because in its reverse position, you just want to be impulsive. You want to do what you want to do. You want to do everything that you think is right for you because you want to go after the shiny thing. You want to have the new excited thing. You don't want to have to wait any longer. You don't want to have to wait the full spring, summer, fall season to reap your rewards. You want them instantaneously. It's instant gratification. Sorry, this is not how the world works. The reason why I'm mentioning it is because with the King's reversed, King's not happy. A little bit of aggravated, and I literally cannot let go of this 3 of Swords card. I'm feeling really sassy for your reading for some reason, so I don't know why I'm being so sassy, but if that's bothering you, I apologize, but this is not my normal reading style. So let's go to strength. Another thing that's holding us back is that we've been strong for so long. But here's the thing about strength is when I see, I keep forgetting. This is a really pretty deck, and I really want you to see the cards. Thing about strength, though, is it's something that's always inside of you, something that you always have. It's not something that just disappears overnight. So when you have strength in your corner, and how it would be holding you back is because you have been strong. You were the one that was doing everything. And now you're just tired and exhausted. So sometimes having to use that strength constantly over and over and over again burns you out in such a grand way that we do need to have whatever caused this 2 of Chalices and 3 of Swords moment. What's going to help us? It's the 7 of Cups, or 7 challenges, and the 10 of Chalices, or the 10 of Cups. What I absolutely love about this is about your heart space. We have a very heartfelt reading here at the moment. And with the 7 of Chalices, the 7 of Cups here, we have opportunities. We know that there's other things out there for us. We know that there might even be other people. Dare I say this is going towards that romantic reading again that I typically try to avoid. But there's other things, other opportunities. There's other ways that you can do things to fulfill that heart space right now. And this is what's going to help you. This is the advice card. And it's a reminder that, yes, you're going to get everything that you want. You just have to give into your heart space. You just have to do this. Our next steps card is the Fool reversed. Now, remember how I said that when you're the world, you have to lead to the Fool? Yeah, I really thought that was pretty amazing of the tarot to do that for me. Because when I see the Fool reversed, I see that we're starting the journey. I see that we are excited for the journey, but in its reverse position, sometimes we're not as excited as we want to be. Sometimes we get on our journey and we're realizing it's a little more difficult. Sometimes we get a flat tire, sometimes there's traffic jams, sometimes there's things that we can't even control, like the rain, which right now, if you're in Kentucky and you're getting rain, you're pretty ecstatic like I am. But, sometimes the rain's not so fun. It, slows down traffic. Sometimes it causes flash floods. It is what it is. But the Fool in its reverse position is telling me that you started that journey, that you've taken that step, and now you're starting to be like, whoa, what did I do here? Just keep going forward. You got this. Okay, our internal influences. It's going to be the Nine of Swords in its reverse position. So what I love about the Nine of Swords in its reverse position specifically is that, yes, we're having these thoughts that are keeping us up. Yes, we have anxiety. Yes, we are, dealing with maybe some depressing thoughts. Maybe we're really just struggling to understand everything that happened and why it happened. But in its reverse position, we're working through it. What I love about that is this is you saying, you know what? I know everything right now is not how I want it to be. I know these repeated thoughts, these repeated things aren't where I want them to be, and I'm going to constantly work to make it so that when my head is where I want it to be and not where it currently is. And that's a beautiful thing to see. So keep doing that, Pile 3. You're doing a good job. And then we have our way to. Our way to is the King of Swords to our possible outcome. I'll bring up the possible outcome in a little bit because I want to talk about the King of Swords first. King of Swords is that divine masculine energy of the air element. Air is all about communication. It's about your intelligence. It's about your mind. It's about your mindset and how you think about things. So when I see the King of Swords here, I see that you are putting yourself and seeing things for the truth that they really are, that you're cutting to the quick of it, and that you're not dancing around the bush. I mean, I guess that's a way of saying it too, but you're not walking around the bush. You are doing exactly what you need to do. You're communicating clearly. You're listening clearly. You're seeing things clearly. You aren't putting, you're not trying to fool yourself. You're actually seeing things and hearing things and doing things as they need to be. And the king in the air element, part of that divine masculine energy is you actually communicating honestly and effectively what it is you need to do to go forward. Because our possible outcome is death reversed. Death does not mean that someone's going to die. All it means is that you're going to be going through a change, which you already know about because you've already started this change. When I see death in its reverse position, it's telling me that you've already started the process, that this isn't news to you, that you just don't know when it's going to come to a completion. The thing about change is always changing. Change is not static. It is always turning, moving, and going. So you're going to continue to see the changes that you want, and eventually you're going to realize I am different, and you're going to be proud of everything you've overcome. Okay, full story. Something came to an end. You saw things for what they really were. You decided that it was enough, and something came to an end. And there is a clear, distinct separation. Again, I am not one to just say that this is you and somebody else or you and a romantic partner, but I cannot avoid what the cards are telling me here. I just can't. And what I see is that you're going through some very necessary separation, but you're not even heartbroken about it. Like, you're not grieving. You're not Five of Cups. You're just really disappointed. Maybe you're a little bit mad at yourself that you spent all that time and energy in something that wasn't going to last. That's okay. Allow yourself to get through that disappointment, but remember that it's more in your head than it is in your heart, okay? And then we have here that you've had to be strong for a long time. But with that strength, you allowed yourself to be a bit impulsive, and you allowed yourself to kind of just let go of things, in the sense of you allowed yourself to indulge. You allowed yourself to, spend too much time on one thing and ignore the other thing, which has its consequences. It's fun for a little bit, but do it for too long and it causes problems. But then our advice/grounding is a reminder that you have opportunities, and that those opportunities is going to lead you to what it is you're after. So don't get stuck in the moment of where you are. Allow yourself to enjoy the opportunities that you have, so that way you can experience everything to find that emotional happiness, to find that little happily ever after that you're going after right now. And you might, like, as you go down this journey, as you make your choices, you might find out that your happily ever after isn't exactly what you thought it is, but it's something even better, which is a great thing to see. Because your next step is that you're already taking this journey. Your next step is you stepping out and going, oh God, what did I do? And that's okay. It's okay to, start a journey and just be like, what the flip? And then be like, okay, and then have all these things happen, because that's you learning, that's you doing, that's you going through the process. And that's a beautiful thing to see, because I already know that you're kind of already started your own journey. You think you're at the world, which you kind of are, because this is who you are now as in the situation, not as a person. But you've already also kind of started the journey as well, because this is you trying to take control over your life. And the first way you can take control of your life is getting control of your mind. And you getting control of your mind is reminding yourself, I am more than my thoughts. My thoughts don't control me. I can control my thoughts. And that's a beautiful thing to see. So maybe pull in some affirmations, maybe, do some meditation, maybe do some journaling, and that will help you with that inner fear and anxiety that you're going through right now. Because you have the King of Swords, which leads to a beautiful Death card, which is telling me that if you're just honest with yourself and communicate honestly with yourself and others, it's going to happen, and it's going to be beautiful, and you're going to love it, because you're the one that started it. So allow yourself to have it. Oracle card, integration, is a beautiful thing to see, because right now you're in a time of learning and time of understanding. And the snake here is a reminder of transformation as well. Because the thing about a snake is it eats its food, it's in its body, and then it, all of a sudden it goes from having a huge lump in its body to it integrating into the rest of its body. I don't understand the process, but I know that it goes from looking like it has a mouse in its body to it just somewhere going someplace. And integration is kind of like that. It's saying, hey, I swallowed a lot. Now I need to figure out what I'm going to do with it, how to apply it, where it's going to do with my life. Just know it's going to happen as long as you keep working through it. You keep digesting it. All right, our emotions card, which I realize is the first time I've done these cards on YouTube, but I've been using these cards for a long time, and I absolutely love them. We have hope and chaos. So let's talk about chaos, because this is one of my favorite ones, because chaos is where the magic happens. So here's my story about chaos and why this is where the magic happens. You get this really cool drive to deep clean your room. And so what do? You do what we all do. We pull everything off the shelves and we're like, yeah, we're going to do this. And then we look at our room and we're like, F, what did I just do? My room is a flipping mess, and now I have to put this all back somehow. Chaos is where the magic happens, because it's in that moment that you see that you have everything, that you either get rid of stuff, you rehome things, or you put them back to where they were. It's up to you what you do, but that is where the magic happens. It only happens when we create the chaos, or the universe does it for us. Oh, wait, that was hope. This is the chaos card. Sorry, I was talking about chaos. I might have been holding the hope card the whole time, but that's chaos. Now let's talk about hope. The cool thing about hope is not just some meaningless emotion that's like, oh, I hope my dream comes true. No, hope is literally our North Star. Hope is the thing that we're going after because we know that we are bigger than our current circumstances. Hope is almost equivalent to faith in the same sense of, I don't know how it's all going to work out, but I know I'm going to reach it, and I know I'm going to get there. Because in my heart, I feel it. That's hope. Hope is a very strong emotion when you allow it to be strong. And yes, it can grow weak over time, but as long as you keep allowing yourself to see evidence of you moving forward, it's going to keep strengthening for you. And that leads me to our last oracle card of move beyond intention to belief, which is exactly what I was saying about hope. When you move beyond attention to belief, you are allowing yourself to say, you know what? I'm not just, going to try to do the thing. I am doing the thing. So, example that I'm never going to do, but I'm not just trying to be an acrobat. I am an acrobat. Right. I'm never going to do acrobatics. Sorry, I'm not flexible. But I can also say it about running. I used to be a runner, so I'm not going to try to run. I'm going to be a runner. I'm going to run cross-country races. When you're a runner, you're a runner. I had to stop because my body broke down a bunch of times, but it is what it is. I don't try to be a tarot reader. I am a tarot reader. I don't have to have the intention of being a tarot reader. I am a tarot reader. When you move yourself beyond intention to belief, you're putting yourself in that moment saying, you know what? Whatever my North Star is, I'm already it. I'm already doing it. I just need to keep walking the path that gets me closer and closer to whatever that goal that I'm trying to achieve is. So pile 3, you have a lot going on. I apologize about your breakup, your separation, whatever it is. It could be you from another job. It could be you in a romantic way. Again, I am not one to normally say it's a romantic partner, but I can't ignore the cards. Remember to give yourself courage. Remember to ground. Remember that you got this. And, you know, if you're feeling a bit lost, go ahead and comment down below what's going on, and I will help you see how you've been blessed and where it's all coming from and where you're going, and we can work together through that. If you have any questions or you want a private reading, there's a link in the description below for a private reading. That's all I got for you today, pile 3. I hope you enjoy your reading, and I can't wait to read for you again soon. Bye, pile 3.